I need to know what's going on.
Sonic Frontiers is an open-world platformer and the latest installment in the long-running, pun intended, Sonic franchise, starring everyone's favorite, and I think only, Blue Hedgehog in sneakers.
Though it's not the first 3D Sonic game we've seen, it is the first open-world one. With sweeping, rolling hills and dusty deserts ripe for exploration. But does bigger equal better? Not always, and certainly not here. Things kick off in pretty classic form, with Sonic, Amy, and Tails out searching for the Chaos Emeralds. That is, before they fall into a wormhole, separating the team across the cyber and physical dimensions, with only Sonic left to bring his friends back to their usually solid selves.
Are you all right?
Me? You're the one who's only half here.
What follows is a good 30 hours or so of Sonic collecting all manner of shiny items. Gunning it around desolate and dull locations, watching objects pop in and out, and throwing down with the most dangerous enemy he's ever faced, a janky camera. Also, all of these terrifyingly awesome creations.
I need to find someplace safe.
It's a mixed bag, is what I'm saying.
Look, it certainly is. You reveal sections of the map by completing challenges that range anywhere from solving simple tile puzzles to punching dummies to playing jump rope. And if you're wondering, what do any of these have to do with the story? Well, you and me both. They feel so disjointed and irrelevant to the land we're playing in. Why, in this barren, post-apocalyptic vibe world, am I playing kickball?
Oh, Jem, it's clearly a tie-in to Sonic's long-cherished time competing in the Olympics with Mario.
Of course, how could I miss that?
But I don't care so much that the challenges are a bit random, more so that they feel like forced busy work. If you don't complete them, it's really hard to tell where you're going or where points of interest are. Instead of being rewarded for exploring the world organically, you're railroaded into entertaining the same handful of repetitive, mundane tasks. To me, it's busy work for the sake of busy work.
They do drop items of use, though, so they aren't totally pointless, at least. Whether it's an item you want, though, is another story. I was always hoping for keys to go towards unlocking the Chaos Emeralds, but they were pretty rare. Otherwise, you'll get handed fruits to go towards upgrading your skills, tokens to use on stabilizing your friends, or objects to help you navigate the world, like springboards or ramps. The gameplay loop is there, completing challenges to earn rewards that go back into helping you progress the story. But it's so hampered by its own issues that after the first couple of hours, it became a chore just to do the bare minimum.
It doesn't help that it feels like you have to pack a lunch every time you head to a new location. Dotted throughout the worlds are grinding rails and platforms, coincidentally Sonic-sized, that our blue blur can use to speedrun his way from point A to point B. Some are super fun, with plenty of quick turns, cool loops, and a good stream of collectibles to aim for. But there are plenty more that are hidden by sudden, janky stops and rhythm-killing object placement.
For a game all about going fast, Frontiers really seems to like stopping you in your tracks, huh? Scattered throughout these vast landscapes are portals that you have to unlock, which house levels based on classic Sonic stages. Some feel awesome with refreshing updates and a new coat of paint, while others are just awful due to shoddy handling, frustrating camera angles in the 3D sections, and confusing layouts. Completing certain goals earns you more keys, but after a while, I stopped caring how well I was doing and just tried to get through them as fast as I could. Which isn't a great feeling, Jax.
It wouldn't be too bad if it was all confined to the platforming, but it's everywhere, including the combat, which is a shame because it's probably one of Frontier's biggest standouts. Sonic can pull off a crazy amount of combos that deal massive damage when chained together successfully. There's a great variety from long-range homing attacks to snappy punch packers. But unfortunately, the boss fights themselves are so long-winded and tedious, with the often ineffective lock-on and camera becoming a frequent obstacle. So these encounters lose their luster quickly.
I think Sonic Frontiers' biggest issue is that it lacks cohesion. Nothing fits together the way it should. There's no flow. The story stops and starts as you run around picking up bits and pieces of conversations.
Those sure are words you said just now.
And the game often wrenches control of the camera away from you to show off how cool Sonic is, or to point out obvious landmarks, taking away that sense of freedom you're supposed to get from an open-world game. It's as if it doesn't trust the player to make these discoveries and observations on their own. So everything is spoon-fed to you, but the spoon keeps hitting you in the eyeball because their aim is terrible. This analogy got weird, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And now I'm hungry, so thank you for that. But let's wrap this up here. I don't think it's any secret that we didn't enjoy this. Though it's something of a pattern for Sonic games at this point, I'd hope this would set the series on a new path. And it kind of did in terms of its story and new gameplay elements. But it keeps getting in its own way, sabotaging its best bits through dodgy controls and a protagonist that handles like soap. So I'm giving Sonic Frontiers 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I'm sure there are Sonic fans out there who'll get a kick out of this purely because Sonic is in it. And that's fine. Sonic is awesome. But Sonic Frontiers is not the game that shows off his best side. And though there is a good story in here, it's repeatedly overshadowed by frustrating attempts to force players into hours of boring, tedious puzzles and fetch quests. Maybe these are things that can be fixed with future updates and patches, but as it is, it's a mess. So I'm also giving Sonic Frontiers 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Sonic the Hedgehog has got to be one of the best blue hedgehogs in the video game biz.
Just one of the best, not the best.
Well, there's Mabel Abel from Animal Crossing.
That is a good point. He's certainly one of the most iconic video game characters anyway, and he's been around for more than 30 years now.
He sure has. In fact, he got his start as the star of a series of 2D platformers. Sonic Origins is a collection of 4 of these titles from the early 90s, and they've been given the remastered treatment. You've got the original Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic CD, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
It's not necessarily the first time some of these titles have been brought to more modern platforms, but many Sonic fans will tell you these are some of the best Sonic games around, and it's handy to have them all in one place like this.
Yeah, I'll admit, I've never been a huge Sonic fan, but it's this momentum-driven pinball-like platforming that Sonic is absolutely known for. The levels are all about collecting rings, overcoming enemies, and platforming challenges as you try to finish each stage as fast as you can. And take on your recurring nemesis, Dr. Igor Robotnik, aka Eggman.
And it's hard not to have a bit of fun spinning around these vibrant worlds, accompanied by a pretty solid retro soundtrack. Sonic Origins gives you the option of playing each game in Classic mode, which is the original screen size with limited lives. Or Anniversary mode, which takes the game full screen and introduces unlimited lives.
This is great for those of us who aren't really platforming pros, although there is only so much help that unlimited lives can give you. Tails and Knuckles are available as playable characters too, with the option for 2-player co-op in Sonic 2 and 3. Although I will say that the Player 2 experience isn't great. You're more of a sidekick than an equal platformer, and you're just constantly falling off screen.
There are a few other modes and features in the collection that are worth mentioning too. Like Boss Rush mode, where you can play through the boss battles of the series in succession, if you really want to show Eggman whose boss that is. I mean, he's the boss, but Sonic, aka you, are boss, you know?
Makes total sense. There's also some cute animated cutscenes to introduce each game. And a story mode, which sets it up so you can play through all 4 games sequentially. And there's the museum, which is a bit of a Sonic nostalgia cache filled with things like artwork, music tracks, and clips, with more unlocked as you play through.
Okay, now be honest, Rad, how many times did you rage quit while playing Sonic Origins?
Gem, I lost count. Old school platformers can be a bit of an extra challenge. It can take some getting used to. But persistence does pay off eventually, and it's always a thrill when you stumble across a secret or shortcut. Or when you finally beat that tough stage or boss fight. But I am only human, and I did get frustrated at times.
But hey, if you do get stuck in a section in one of those games, you can always jump over to one of the other ones for a breather. I found myself really enjoying that feeling of speed and flow when you do get into the swing of it, or rather, the spin of it. When I could pull it off, that is. Now, although I haven't come across anything major personally, I have seen reports of bugs and glitches from other players. One of the developers even said he wasn't happy with the state of the games on release.
Oh, yikes. But it can be a tricky task to modernize older games. But overall, how do you think Sonic Origins manages it?
Well, I don't see much here for anyone who's already played these games, unless you're a diehard Sonic fan or haven't revisited them for a while. But if you've never played them, then Sonic Origins is probably the best way to give these platforming classics a go right now. And they are clearly classics for a reason. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, I don't think this collection knocked my socks off or converted me to Sonic fandom. Still, I can appreciate them from a gaming history perspective. And I like that Sonic Origins is a pretty accessible way for a new generation of GGS peeps to discover Sonic's origins. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.